right, everybody, good day. We are here on Royal Caribbean Casino Royale, and we're going to do a beginner roulette video. I'm going to show you what the roulette wheel is, how to place the bets, and how to play if you're a beginner. I'm going to unveil the mystery of roulette. Well, first of all, this is the roulette wheel. There's two different types of wheels. One has a double zero and a single zero, such as here. That's the American wheel. Then there's another wheel that has one less space on all these little spaces here, and it's the European wheel. It just has a single zero. And the numbers are oriented slightly different, well, majorly different than this, but this is how the numbers are arranged, as you can see. They're crisscrossing. You have 1 and then 2, then you have 3, and then you have 4 and 5, 6, and so forth. Everything kind of crisscrosses. Nothing's consecutive. So if you see numbers on the table, like 1 and 2, they're not next to each other on the wheel. They're actually on opposite sides of the wheel. So there's 1 and there's 2, as you can see there. Okay, so that is how the wheel is set up. How do you play roulette? Well, first of all, these are all the different types of bets. So you can just bet on numbers, basically, but you see the lines here, so these are the little dividers. And so if you place a bet on, say, number 1, and the wheel is spun and it hits, it pays 35 to 1, like that. Normally people get $1 chips. So you would have 5 $1 chips, and that's the minimum you have to have anywhere on the table on Royal Caribbean, most Royal Caribbean tables. There are some tables on some ships that the minimum is $25 on the table. But in this case, we're just gonna go assume that it's $1 minimum on numbers. So if you put a chip here, this just happens to be a $5 chip. All the colored chips, which you don't see them now because the casino's closed, they have colors, and that's just to keep track of whose chips are who, because when you got a lot of people playing, you know, you got to keep track of whose people's colors are. So just assume you have a $1 chip, and you put it here, and it hits, the number turns up on the wheel, you get paid 35 to 1. If you have $5 chip, you put it right there, you're gonna get $175. If you put a $1 chip, you're gonna get $35. Now, you see, sometimes people put the chips here, sometimes they put here. And so these are splitting the numbers. So if you put a chip here, it is splitting these two numbers. So either of these numbers turns up on the wheel, you win, and that pays 17 to 1. So if you have $1, it pays 17. If you have 5 of those, it pays 85. Sometimes you see people put it on a corner. Now it covers 4 numbers. You have 4 chances to win on one spin. That only pays 8 to 1. So if you're playing only dollar chips, I wouldn't recommend putting on corners because it only pays 8 to 1. If you're putting out, like, say, 8 chips on the table and you have $8 on the table and you get 1 hit, you're gonna break even. So unless you're putting like a lot of money on these, you know, I wouldn't do it. But I do a lot of splits out of convenience, and say instead of having 1 chip here and 1 chip here, I'll just put 2 chips on the split. It pays the same thing. It's 17 to 1. You end up with the same amount of money because you keep your original bet. So that's how the insides are done. One more types of bet. It's a little more advanced, but you call streets. So this is a street. This covers these 3 numbers right there, 1, 2, and 3. And that pays 10 to 1. If you put this on the double street, it's covering all these 6 numbers. And that pays 5 to 1. So that's how that works. That's the inside. 0 and 00, you can split them. It's the same thing as any other numbers. It's either 0 or 00 hits, you get 17 to 1. Either number hits, it's 35 to 1. No different than any other number, except the green wipes out any of these outside bets, which I'll go over right now. So these are what they call the outside bets. And $5 is the minimum on an outside bet. So now here's a $5 chip. So say you want to bet the first 12. This covers numbers 1 through 12. So it covers all these numbers right here. And they call these the dozens, or first 12, second 12, or third 12, interchangeably. So if you put a $5 chip here and you get any of these numbers 1 through 12, it pays 2 to 1. So they pay you out 2 chips. Okay? And you can do the same thing with the second dozen or third dozen. You put it on the third dozen, it basically will cover 25 through 36. Any of those numbers hits, you get 2 to 1. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll put, like say, $5 on one and then $5 on another. So they're betting $10. And if they get paid out, they'll end up netting a profit of $5 if any of these numbers hit, and either dozen. The more you have, the more you win. And then there's one more outside bet that pays 2 to 1, and that is the columns. So first column, second column, third column. The first column covers all these numbers on the first column. So it covers 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, so forth, all the way down to 34. That pays 2 to 1. Same odds as these, just, doesn't matter on the high numbers, middle numbers, or lower numbers. This is all whatever the first column. You can do the same thing. The second column covers all these numbers. And the third column, the easy thing to remember at the third column, all are multiples of 3. So if you get the third column and the number spins and it's a multiple of 3, you won on that one. That's an easy way to keep track of the third column, and that pays 2 to 1. So sometimes people, instead of playing like 2 dozens, one here and one here, you have basically 24 numbers out of 38 covered. You have a pretty good chance of winning. Sometimes you can play 1 dozen and 1 column. And so if you do the third and the third dozen and the first column, now you're covered on any number up here for 1 and any number here for this one. And if you get both, say you get a number here and you're betting this and this, you get paid 2 to 1 here and 2 to 1 here. So now you're winning, instead of $5, you get paid out $10 profit here, and you get paid out $10 profit there. So you make $20 if both. So that's one way to play that. One more bet you can do here, and these are the even money bets. These are all these on this little last row. So and these are all $5 minimum bets on the outside. So say you put $5, 1 through 18. Very simple. If any number from 1 to 18 shows up on the wheel, so say they spin it and 5 hits, you get paid out 1 nickel. So you get $5 win because it pays out 1 to 1, even money. Same thing with odd. You can bet red, you can bet black, and you can bet odd or the high number. So, and here you can do 2 or 3 bets at the same time. So say you want to bet on black and odd and 19 through 36. You can certainly do that. And you get paid out if 29 hits. You get paid out on the black 1 to 1. You get paid out on an odd number 1 to 1, and you get paid out on the 19 through 36 1 to 1. So there you would make 5, 10. You'd make $15 on a $15 bet, but it's even money. So you make 5 here, you make 5 here, you make 5 here. So you're betting 15 and you're winning 15. So either way, it's $15 even money, but you win more if you bet more. Don't bet red and black at the same time. It's stupid. Because you think, oh, if I just bet red and bet black, and then I have, every time I'll win, except for zeros, then you lose. So not wise. Not wise to play for points. It's better to play for fun and play for profit. And that is the beginner's explanation of the roulette table. Hopefully it unveils the mystery of roulette. And again, on Royal Caribbean ships, the colored chips are dollars, or you can mark them as higher. So say you have two people both playing with, say I play with $5 chips. So the next person, say I'm betting $5 chips all in here. The next person comes, he says, I want to play with $5 chips too. How do you keep track? They assign them a different color. So you can mark the $5 and the color chips as $5 chips. So the dealers will put a couple of color chips and put this on top to notify all the dealers that, hey, that yellow chip is $5, equal to $5, because they bought in for $5 chips. So this way I have my cast chip, or I can do color by fives, they call it. And so this way, someone who's playing yellow and someone who's playing that, both are $5 chips, and they can keep track of whose chips are who. So there you go. That is how roulette is played. And it's a game of chance. It is requiring luck and timing. And there are some smart ways to bet, and there are not some smart ways to bet. So I can cover that in a future video, but basically what I can say is if you just want to piddle around, you know, try to cover probably like 12 numbers. And if you're going to bet the insides, you can simply just pick 12 numbers straight up, because your bet is, say your bet's $12. If any one hits, you get $35. So that's how that works. But don't do 12 numbers. I mean, you could do splits, but you're not going to win anything. You're going to win $5. You know, or, you know, that's basically it. You're going to win $5. If you put 12 splits everywhere, you'll win like $5. Don't do the corners, because you get paid $8. So if you put $12 out on different corners, you get paid $8 to one, and you're going to lose money. So there's certain ways to keep track of what's a good bet, what's not a good bet. You can simply bet anywhere from 5 or more chips right on numbers, or you can just play around with some of these outside bets just to kind of see what it is. So hopefully you like this video, and stay tuned for more, and please give it a thumbs up. Hopefully this unveiled mystery to beginners in roulette. At least you can play around for a little while, and it's fun. A lot of people just come in and they buy $100 worth of chips, and you can play for quite a while. And another thing you can do is watch others who are playing and just kind of learn, you know, ask questions from there. And it's not going to be too scary to play this, because now hopefully you know at least what the bets are. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the channel so you can be notified of more videos as soon as they come out, coming from another Royal Caribbean cruise ship near you.